Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Chris. I'm an English teacher here at Sahabat Bhakti. And I was asked why I wanted to become a teacher. And to be honest, I had never thought of becoming a teacher. But when I came to Indonesia, I had to do something. Yeah, and several people, including my wife, suggested that I could teach. I was pretty reluctant to do it. I never thought I could be a good teacher. But I gave it a shot, and apparently I was quite talented. So that's why I've stuck to it. I'm still doing it until now, and I actually love my job. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had, and I'm happy to do it. And why am I here at Sahabat Bhakti? Well, several reasons. The main reason is that there was once this cool thing called a pandemic, which caused me to lose my previous job, and I had to, of course, get a new one. And yeah, the goddess of luck was pretty happy to support me, and I actually got an opportunity to teach here. That was 3.5 years ago. I'm still here, and I can tell you, I don't want to leave. I love this place, I love the school, I love the teachers, the students, everything around. And I'm happy here, and I hope I will stay here until I retire. Thank you so much.
Hello, fellow students. Welcome to Bhakti Podcast, where we dive deeper into the stories of Bhakti and explore new things that are happening in Bhakti. We're your trusty hosts, Bianca and
Farah.
And today we're gonna be having a special guest here. Can you guess who it is, Farah?
Who is it?
Well, let me give you a hint. He's a native teacher in our school.
Oh, so Mr. Chris?
Yes, correct. Let's say hi to Mr. Chris. Hello, Mr. Chris.
Yeah, hello Farah, hello Bianca. Right off the bat, let me tell you that it's an honor to be here. It's a new podcast, yeah, your show, and I'm the first guest. That's amazing, honestly. And yeah, how am I feeling today? Feeling a little bit under the weather today. I've been sick for basically for the whole week. Yeah, I think I've caught something from my students. Yeah, but I'm here, so let's get right into it.
Oh yeah, to be honest, I was really sick like a few days back, and
You too?
Yes, and do you feel a sore throat?
Yes, but it's not as serious as it was on Tuesday. I had a really bad day on Tuesday. I had a headache, I just throat. I was barely able to talk, and I had grade 3 to teach, which are little energy vampires sometimes.
Yeah.
So it was tough, but still surviving. So I'm still alive.
That was also my exact symptoms when I got my flu.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you probably got a disease from me.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh God. Okay, well, we're gonna start asking you questions and maybe talk about some things. Okay. Well, since you're a native teacher, you probably come from another country. So when did you start living in Indonesia?
Question. Quite a long minute. I came here in April let me think, 2011, so 12 years ago.
Oh, 12.
And if you want to know where I came from, so my country of origin is Germany, but before I came to Indonesia, I lived in Hong Kong.
Oh.
And I met my wife in Hong Kong, I married in Hong Kong. Then we had to decide where to live. The options were Hong Kong, back to Europe, or Indonesia, because my wife is from Indonesia. And we looked at the pros and cons, and we ultimately decided to live in your country, in Indonesia.
Why do you have Indonesia as an option? Like, did you find anything interesting in Indonesia?
Okay. Well, back in Hong Kong, it was not about what was most interesting, but it was more about survival.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I didn't have a job in Hong Kong. My wife had a good job, but Hong Kong is very expensive, so we had to where I was going with it. Yeah, we had to look at the benefits and the disadvantages. And Europe was no option at all because my wife speaks English, she speaks Mandarin, she speaks Indonesian, of course, but she wouldn't be able to live in Germany. Technically, yes, but in Germany, it's difficult to find people who speak good English, so she wouldn't really get a job there. Italy, Spain, probably the same. The other option, Hong Kong, was perfect for her, not so perfect for me. And then Indonesia was perfect for her. And I was actually ready to see something new. So I said, yeah, Indonesia, sure, why not?
Oh. Well, okay. Well, did you have any reason to be in Hong Kong, or did you just move there to have a vacation?
Yes, I certainly had. It's quite a long story. Do you really want to hear it?
Yeah. I think it will be
Okay.
very
So, back then, I had a girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
Not my wife, but before her, yeah. And she was from Hong Kong. So I lived in Germany back then, so we mostly communicated via MSN, which is old messaging app before WhatsApp. So, and yeah, living a long distance relationship didn't really cut it. Not for her, not for me. So we had to make a decision, and I actually asked her to marry me, and she said yes. And I was on cloud nine. I was happy. I was excited. Yeah, I was ready to leave Germany because honestly, I had always wanted to. I had always wanted to go to another country. So for me, it was an adventure ready to start. And once I arrived in Hong Kong, everything went down.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So my girlfriend left me.
Oh, God.
I had no visa. I was there on a tourist visa, which was valid for 3 months.
Yeah.
I had no job. I couldn't get a job because Hong Kong's working regulations are so strict. I think they have loosened some a bit, but back then when I was there, super strict. Because they have the Hong Kong citizens first policy.
That sounds miserable.
Oh yeah, it was. It was. I was starving. I eventually ran out of money. My landlord kicked me out of my home. I was basically living on the streets. And luckily I had made a few friends. And one of my friends basically took me in. However, she got pretty annoyed with me. Well, her husband got pretty annoyed with me after the time. And I had already known my wife, but we weren't really that close. And back then, so she wasn't my wife back then. So, and my wife was friends with the person I stayed with. And she told my wife, I'm calling her my wife, even though she wasn't
my wife.
Yeah. She told my wife, I need him to get out. So she was ready to call the cops on me and get me deported.
Oh, my.
I didn't want to leave. That thing. Yeah. I mean, I could have said, yeah, call the cops, get me deported, get me back to Germany, but I didn't want to leave because I had finished with Germany. I wanted to stay. I wanted to say, no, I want to make it in Hong Kong, even though things are looking bad because that was probably my pride speaking. Yeah. But I didn't want to give up. Yeah. So anyway, eventually my wife organized a homestay for me, like a POS, where I stayed. And yeah, during that time, we kind of fell in love. And eventually we decided to marry. And that's when I moved here.
Well, that was very interesting.
Oh yeah, I could write a book and sell it to one of the Indonesian TV stations, and they could make a Sinatra movie out of it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, it's kind of like a roller coaster since first of all, like your
Definitely.
Yeah, like your girlfriend like wanted to marry you, and you wanted to marry your girlfriend, and then she said yes, and then it was going up, and then it went downhill when.
Well, it basically went from the peak 90 degrees down.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a slow, it was just bang, right in the guts. And we were like, oh my goodness, I'm falling. It was tough. I can tell you that it was tough.
Oh God. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but like,
No, don't be. It's a life experience.
yeah, I'll probably experience something like that too.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. I don't wish that on any person, because that was probably the worst time of my life, but also one of the most, let's say, educational times.
Yeah. So you know your lesson.
I've learned from that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least you have a good life now, right?
I can say that. No, it's still a roller coaster, but it's not that. It goes more like in waves now. Yeah? A little bit up, a little bit down. Not.
Oh, well, okay then. Well, since now you lived in Indonesia, and you probably tried some of like Indonesian's restaurants, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, what was your favorite food from those restaurants? Like, what is your favorite Indonesian food?
I would say rendang.
Rendang. Oh yeah.
But not just chicken rendang. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't like the chicken.
Oh.
I'm a big chicken fan, but chicken rendang is really not my cup of tea. But beef rendang, wow. Even though it's spicy, so with a spicy sauce,
It's
I don't care.
really
I eat
good.
it.
Really
It's
good.
lovely.
In some rendang, whenever I eat rendang, it's like sometimes it's kind of it's kind of hard to like cut it. You know, I usually cut
Yeah,
it.
it's pretty chewy. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty chewy. Have you ever tried like mie ayam?
of course.
Oh, mie ayam's really good, to be honest. Like the one with bakso, like meatballs.
There used to be a seller in front of our school. He's gone now. I think he had a problem in his family, so he's kind of probably not retired, but he's off work for now. I kind of miss that guy because me, I am.
Oh, like the one that's next to like the other school, like.
Yeah, that's basically in front of the SMA. And I heard he's been here like for
Quite a while.
15 years. Yeah,
Oh
or
wow,
longer.
over a decade.
Yeah. He's been here for like every day. Yeah. And the food is really good. It's not too expensive.
Yeah, I never even knew there was like a mie ayam stand in front of our school. But if there was still a mie ayam stand, I would literally buy from it every day since I really love mie ayam.
I mean, if you're allowed to go outside.
Yeah. But I mean, every time after school, every time when my driver is already here, I could go outside and eat some. So yeah. Well, I also really like rendang, but like sometimes it's kind of hard to chew.
Do you care for spicy food? Do you like it?
Oh no, I don't. I don't at all. So no, like even though I've drank like 3 glasses of cold water, the spiciness is still in my tongue, and like it's probably sitting there for like 30 minutes. And
You should try milk.
oh,
Instead of water, try milk.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Apparently, that's a good remedy when it comes to spicy food.
Okay, well, I'll try that since my mom has this thing with spicy foods, and she really loves them. And we have milk at home, so when I eat her food, I'll probably just try it and drink milk.
Well, you know how you finally got married to your wife and moved to Indonesia, right? Well, when you moved to Indonesia, did both of you not have a job yet, or like?
When my wife still had her job in Hong Kong, she took a vacation from it in order to get me to Indonesia, and we had money, so it wasn't really an issue right away. However, she had to go back, and I didn't have a job back then, so I had to figure out what to do. And yeah, that's when I got my first teaching job.
May I ask where your first teaching job was?
You probably have heard of it, English First.
Huh?
English First. EF.
That was I never knew like the longer version of EF until now.
English first.
Oh.
It's English first.
Oh yeah. How did you get into like SD Bhakti in the first place?
How did I get into SD Bhakti?
Yeah.
Okay. You may have heard of it. There was this cool thing going on. It's called the pandemic. Yeah? Everybody was super excited about it. In fact, my old employer was so excited that he decided not to continue my contract. And it was, so my old employer, also school, decided not to continue because I had become too expensive apparently. Yeah. They had to cut costs, and right before the next school year started, they laid me off. So they laid me off in June, a month before the next school year started. Yeah. And yeah, I was sitting in my room and I was like, yeah. Because we had been in negotiations. Yeah.
Negotiations.
Yeah, we had talked about a new contract and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was under the impression, yeah, it was safe. Yeah. Maybe details to talk about. And then he said, yeah, no, we're not going to continue.
And the school decided, that's it. We part ways. Yeah. So there were no hard feelings. I mean, that was their right. Yeah. Our contract ended, and they said, yeah, it was nice. Yeah. We had you for 2 years, but pandemic, cutting costs, you're too expensive, so bye-bye. Yep, understood that. However, it put me a little bit in hot water, yeah, so because I had no backup plan, because I was under the impression that everything had been negotiated, had been safe, and I would continue at that school. And when they said that they would not continue, I was sitting in my room. I was like, yeah, that is poo-poo. And I immediately took my phone, looked up jobs for schools, and I can tell you, 1 month before the next school year starts, there is not much. Yeah. So I found one job. It wasn't satisfactory. Honestly, it was terrible, but I was willing to take it because I had to do something since my financial situation only would keep me afloat for a few months maybe, yeah. So I had to take a job. But before I signed that contract with a new company, I found another ad on the internet. And I decided to give it a go. I wrote some emails, sent my CV, my documents, everything.
Your resume.
And I got an answer about 2 hours later. And they asked me to come in for an interview. So I went there the next day. I had an interview with 3 people. The owner, who is Indonesian. Then the director, who's British. And another teacher was there as well. He's from Turkey. Yeah. They're all still there, yeah. And yeah, the interview went well, and they immediately said, yeah, we're gonna hire you. And I said, wow, wonderful. And then we talked numbers, yeah, and yeah, with the pandemic, the salary was much lower than what I had done before. And however, beggars can't be choosers. That's one of those phrases I like to use. Yeah, because if you don't have options, you take what you get. And yeah, I took it. And I asked them what I would teach. I asked them, would I be in a school or would I teach in a language center? Because it was basically a language center. Yeah. And they said, no, we'll send you to school. We'll loan you to school. And yeah, then I don't really know when it was. I think 2 days before school started, or 3 days. Honestly, I don't remember. I came here. The teachers had a meeting. They were all sitting, and I think it was 1D. And I was waiting outside, and then I met the owner of the school, the board members. I met the director, Mr. Poole.
Well, what is like a culture shock that you have that is different in Indonesian schools than your home country?
You mean when it comes to schools?
Like a culture shock that you have in Indonesian schools that they probably wouldn't have in like German schools.
Okay. I wouldn't say it's a culture shock, but
one thing that's definitely different is your flag parade in the morning, upacara. Yeah, so what we have every Monday, when we have the flag ceremony, we don't have this in Germany. We don't even sing the national anthem at school.
Oh.
Well, on the topic of that, what are things that Indonesian schools have that are that would be considered different and abnormal in like schools in your home country?
Think for a minute. The grading system is different.
Oh, the grading.
Also, when it comes to high school, it's also different. Let me start with the grading system first. Now, in Indonesia, you have a percentage. Yeah, you get like 95%, 100%, based on your performance. In Germany, we have a grading system from 1 until 6, which is similar to the American grading system, which is instead of numbers, letters, A until F. And it has the same meaning. 1 is the best, 6 is the worst. If you have a 5 or 6, you fail. That is also, in order to pass, what percentage do you need to reach?
For I believe 1 until 5, like 1 until 5th grade, it's around like 70-ish, like
70 to 75.
Yeah,
The passing grade.
around that.
What about grade 6?
For 6th grade, it's usually from 80 to 85, which is like passing grade.
Okay.
Last year in 4th grade, my cousin, as I mentioned, Shabila, she said that her passing grade was like 80 and 85. So we don't really know when the passing grade 80, 85 started, but like, yeah, I mean, for us, it started at 6th grade.
Okay.
I mean, the school changed her curriculum recently, so maybe passing grades.
Me too. I have no clue.
So, I heard a rumor online that in Germany they don't allow like homeschooling. Is there a reason why for that?
Yes, it's part of the law that every child has a right and a duty to go to school. That includes what I've seen in Indonesian schools when the kids, let's say, go on holiday. I had it recently in your class. Ibel, she wasn't in school, she was in Surabaya on, I think she was going to a wedding or what, I don't remember. And that would be difficult to do in German schools. First of all, you need a permission from school. And if you fail to get that permission, you cannot just say, oh yeah, I'm going on holiday. The school must write you an official letter that you are permitted to stay away. If you don't do that, it is a criminal offense, which means your parents may get in trouble with the police.
Do they take school like that seriously?
Yes. If you don't come to school, like for a week, the school will investigate. And if they, for example, find out that the parents don't send you to school for whatever reason, they will call the police. And the police will come to your door, pick you up, bring you to school. And your parents will have a date with the court.
Oh my God. Well, can I ask, is there any like special occasions where like they would just let it pass? Like example, you were in like a coma for like
We're talking about Germany. Germany is not the country of letting it slide. We are the country of law and order.
Oh, well,
It's really strict.
like, what about like, for example, like someone like entered a coma for like a week, and then like when they finally find out, like what do they do? Do they like blame the parents?
Well, that depends on the case, I mean, it might be the case, police will definitely be involved. It might be the case that they let you off with a warning, so there might not be much, but if it's like a more serious offense, it can actually be up to the point where the parents go to jail. Because as a child, you have a duty to go to school. You cannot refuse. You must go to school. And if for example, it's not the parent's fault, like the child, for example, skips school and says, no, I'm sitting in the cafe, I'm going to Starbucks, the police will look for you.
Oh, wow.
And what will they do when they find you?
They will put you in a car, get you to school, put you in the classroom and say, have fun.
Oh, so they don't really do any punishment or something?
Probably not.
Oh.
However, once you're a certain age, there might be additional punishments, but if you're like under 14, you basically get a free pass.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, I just realized how strict German schools are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that there's like 5-minute breaks right after every period or class. You know?
Yes.
I mean, when I heard that, I felt like, oh my god, German schools are, well, really nice and fun, you know? And then I heard this, well...
To be honest, it's not too bad. I mean, this doesn't happen often, because most kids actually go to school, First of all, they want to go to school, they don't want to stay at home, they want to learn. And it's not that like hundreds of kids leave school and want to stay at home and then the police have to arrest them or what. No, it's not really like that. It's actually a rare case.
Oh, so like when you're sick, you also have to send like a permission letter?
No. The parents usually call the school and say, or the teacher and say, my child is sick, you get a permission from the parents usually sign a letter. So they have a letter, an excuse, and that usually is valid enough for the school to say, okay, so it's not that strict. However, if you're like sick every day, every week, continuously, the school might actually investigate.
Oh, okay.
Or may not, it depends on the school, But yeah, it's an option.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a very fascinating thing about German schools. So, well, since you're like a teacher now, can you tell us some funny experience that you, when you're teaching, maybe?
Funny experiences. Okay. There was one thing, I don't know, I wouldn't call it funny, but before I started here, I was in an Islamic school, at an Islamic school, and at an Islamic school the rules are pretty strict when it comes to communication, connections between male and female students or male and female teachers and stuff like that. And I had one student in grade 5 and then later grade 6 who really loved me as a teacher. I was her favorite teacher, and every time she saw me she came, Mr. Chris, and then she stood before me, started talking, And then in grade 6, one day I was walking down the stairs and she was standing down there with her friends, and she looked at me and said, Mr. Chris! And she ran up the stairs and immediately hugged me. And I was standing there, I was like, what's going on? I was confused, because grade 6 students, my grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 students, and occasionally grade 4 students, they did that, but grade 5, grade 6, they wouldn't do that. So when that grade 6 student suddenly hugged me, I was shocked. I was like, I had my arms really at my body, and I was like, okay, what's going on? And then immediately after that, one of the female teachers walked by. She saw it and she called that student, brought her into a separate room for 5 minutes. Oh my God. I guess she got the talk. The talk of trouble. She received that. And when she came back, she looked really embarrassed, really humiliated. And I walked up to her and said, are you okay? And she said, no, I messed up. I said, I'm not allowed to hug you, I'm so sorry. And I said, don't be sorry to me, I don't really mind. Because when students hug me, I don't really care. I know why they do it. So for me, it's not really a problem, but I understand the school's rules. So I know why she got in trouble.
Student must
So, as you know, whenever I go to a new class, there would what do I want to say? Students would come up and say, Mr. Chris, may I go to the toilet? And I have to say, if we had 5-minute breaks,
They could have just already gone in those breaks.
it would be much easier, yeah? Because you have your 5 minutes where you can do whatever you want, yeah? Eat, drink, yeah? The teacher could prepare mentally for the next class, could set up the system and stuff like that, and could immediately start the lesson. It would be more effective, would have more
Yeah.
time. Yeah? So that is something I definitely miss.
Oh, well, okay then. Well, thank you for our talk today. And I really enjoyed this. I never even knew it was already almost half an hour. I mean, it's already over half an hour. So yeah, I'm very grateful for having you here. Thank you so much,
you so
Mr.
much.
Chris. And yeah. Well, yeah, I had so much fun here. So yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching our first episode of our podcast today, and see you next episode. Bye-bye.